What's up? What is good, everybody? Right now we are taking a look at the iPhone 10 versus the iPhone SE in 2018. Now I could make an inappropriate joke about these phones, but I'm not going to. But I think the title itself speaks. I mean, if you look at it closely, whatever. So both these phones are pretty interesting because we have the cheapest iPhone you can get at the Apple Store versus the most expensive iPhone at the Apple Store. And really, these phones do have a lot in common. I mean, they both kind of broke the internet when they both got released. I mean, I would say the iPhone 10 more so than the iPhone SE 100%, but really these phones only came out about a year and a half away from each other. The SE came out in March of 2016, the iPhone 10 came out in September of 2017. But in terms of body, I mean, they are completely different. The iPhone SE is much smaller than the iPhone 10. So if you're into more of a smaller phone, you might consider getting the iPhone SE, but in a lot of cases, the iPhone 10 obviously is a much better phone. And I'm going to say this 100%, if you have an unlimited amount of budget, if you have an insane amount of money to spend, definitely get the iPhone 10. It'll make way more sense. It'll last you longer. That's the future, Face ID, all that stuff. I would really recommend that over the iPhone SE, but let's say you're on a budget and you don't know whether you want to go ball out and get the iPhone 10 or save some money and get the iPhone SE. That is what this video is for. Now, like I said, in terms of the bodies, obviously they're different. The iPhone SE still has the home button and Touch ID, where the iPhone 10 got rid of it in terms of for Face ID. And the iPhone 10 has an OLED screen where the iPhone SE does not. And the screen on the iPhone 10 is completely beautiful. I love it so much. Blacks are pitch black. It's such an awesome panel. And I love OLED way more than I like IPS that is on the iPhone SE. But the iPhone SE's panel isn't that bad either. And I could definitely tell it's like a budget phone. But it's not like horrible or anything. I do think that newer iPhones, all the iPhones being released this year, are going to have OLED panels except for the cheapest iPhone. Now continuing on, another huge factor when I look at a phone would definitely be the updates. The iPhone SE started getting iOS 9.3.2. It's going to get updates for at least iOS 13. It might get iOS 14 because it came out after the 6S, but that's kind of a hit or miss. I really do think it's going to get iOS 13, maybe iOS 14, I don't know. The iPhone 10 is going to be getting updates for a very long time. I don't know at this point when it's going to stop, but that's definitely a better sign, you know. Now in terms of performance, the iPhone 10 has an Apple A11 Bionic chip, a hexa-core processor clocked at 2.39 GHz, and it has 3 GB of RAM versus the iPhone SE that has the Apple A9 chip, a dual-core processor clocked at 1.84 GHz, and 2 GB of RAM. Now, looking at these phones, you would definitely think the iPhone 10 is 100 billion times faster, and it is noticeably faster than the iPhone SE if you're comparing them side by side, but I don't think at all that the iPhone SE is much slower, or the iPhone 10 is 100 times faster. I think if the iPhone 10 was like a 10 out of 10, no pun intended, in terms of performance, the iPhone SE would probably be like 80%, maybe a light 82%, but definitely a hard 80%. And I do have a theory of mine, and it's just a theory, I don't know about it too much, but I think the iPhone 10, because it has a bigger screen and because it's clocked higher, the iPhone SE might be able to play games faster in a way because it's smaller and doesn't have many pixels to push. That is extreme theory, but obviously both these phones would have to have the same specs like the iPhone 8 and iPhone 10. So that theory pretty much is blown out of the water. But yeah, the iPhone 10 is perfect on gaming and everything, but the iPhone SE isn't that bad either. I mean, like I said, like 80%, it's not bad. Now switching to the cameras, I'm all over the place. The iPhone 10 has a dual camera setup on the back where the iPhone SE does not. Now, because the iPhone 10 does have 2 cameras, it does mean it can support portrait mode. They both are 12 megapixels though, but I mean, the iPhone 10 does have the advantage here. It has optical image stabilization. It has a lot other features that the iPhone SE does not. And the iPhone 10 can shoot 4K video at 60 frames per second, where the iPhone SE can only shoot 4K videos at 30 frames per second. So really the choice is yours. I mean, if you're getting either of these, the cameras are pretty good. But I would say again, if like the iPhone 10 was 10 out of 10, the iPhone SE would probably be like an 8 out of 10. Now battery life is pretty interesting as well. So the iPhone SE has a 1624 mAh battery. The iPhone 10 has a 2716 mAh battery, and battery life overall is pretty comparable on both, but I would say without a doubt that if you're using them long term, the iPhone 10 will probably last you longer. I definitely got a day out of the iPhone 10 on my use, but the iPhone SE comes pretty close too, but there's a noticeable difference between them, so I will say the iPhone 10 does have better battery life overall than the iPhone SE. Some other notable things to note: the iPhone 10 does not have a fingerprint sensor, the iPhone SE does. The iPhone SE also has a headphone jack where the iPhone 10 got rid of it. There's a different type of speaker system on the iPhone 10, so you kind of have like a dual speaker setup, but not really. The iPhone SE does not have it. And the iPhone SE is pretty much all bezel and it's very small, versus the iPhone 10 that is actually still kind of small, but doesn't have any bezel, so I definitely prefer the look of the iPhone 10 over the iPhone SE. So what this comes down to is pretty much not only preference but price, because if I were you, I would probably stay away from getting an iPhone 10. And now it's kind of hypocritical for me to say that because I just bought an iPhone 10. If I were you, I would probably do this, okay? Get an iPhone SE, get it for your carrier or whatever, have it for a couple months, wait until September, until the new iPhones come out, and then make your decision, because the iPhone 10s are going to get discounted at that point. I can see the iPhone 10s going probably around $600, maybe up until $700. It really just depends on what the budget iPhone sells for this year. So I would definitely say without a doubt, get the iPhone SE, use it for a couple months, then when the new iPhones come out, sell that, lose maybe like $40, $50, probably not even that much. It's still probably going to sell for like almost the same price. And then get the iPhone 10 when that comes out, probably get it in like October, November, if you can wait that long. That's kind of like a long-term kind of look out of the thing. But if you need an iPhone right now and you need to decide between the two and you want an iPhone, you don't want to sell it later or whatever, get the iPhone 10. You won't have any problems with it for a while. And I would just go from there. But that's kind of two different ways of looking at it. But really the choice is yours, you know? It's a free country. Do whatever you guys want. But let me know what you guys end up doing. And if you have any questions or anything, leave them down in the comment section below. But if you do plan on getting either of these phones, check them out on the Amazon links below. I always try to find the lowest prices and everything. And if you get them from that link, they actually support the channel. So definitely check them out if you want to support it. But if you guys have any questions or anything, leave it down in the comment section below. Hit that like button. That'll mean so much. But definitely hit that subscribe button. We're still giving away an iPhone 6s and an iPhone SE on the channel. And in order to enter, all you have to do is subscribe to the channel, follow me on Twitter and Instagram. All those links are down in the description, so make sure you enter that. But more importantly than everything else, I love every single one of you guys, and hopefully I'll catch you guys in the next video. Peace out till then.